Now next is continuing with the preparation of hydrogen. We will come to see the basically the what you can say laboratory preparation of hydrogen. The first we'll say. So in the laboratory we are taking that is zinc. Zinc with dilute sulfuric acid we take to prepare hydrogen gas. Zinc with dilute sulfuric acid is preferred. Now you may ask me the question that why we are taking zinc, and that too let me tell you, zinc means granulated zinc we take. What I said, we take zinc plus H2SO4, we get ZnSO4 and hydrogen gas is released. And here we are taking granulated zinc. Now, why we don't take pure zinc? Let me answer you first this one, then after that I will come to the next question. Why we don't take pure zinc? Now, pure zinc is basically, it is not porous. Porous means holes would be there, isn't it? Where sulfuric acid will penetrate and it will make the reaction faster, isn't it? So, it is non-porous, got it? But granulated zinc is porous. What I said, pure zinc is non-porous, due to which the reaction is slower because sulfuric acid cannot penetrate through that holes and cannot make the reaction faster, we can say that. Clear? So it is non-porous, due to which the reaction is very slow. But granulated zinc is an impure zinc which contains copper as an impurities, generally it contains, and moreover it is porous. So the reaction is faster. So if you do the reaction with granulated zinc, the reaction is being faster, we can say that. Got it? That you need to remember. The reaction is faster. So we take the impure zinc here. Even if we know that impurities will, what you can say, prevent to prepare pure hydrogen, but we'll remove the impurities after manufacture of hydrogen. After preparation of hydrogen, we'll remove the impurities. That also will say you. Alright, but here first of all we need to see that the reaction should be fast. Alright, the yield of hydrogen should be more. Alright, for that reason we don't take the pure zinc, we take the impure zinc which contains copper as an impurities, and this copper acts as a catalyst which makes the reaction faster, we can say that. And moreover, the granulated zinc is porous, sulfuric acid can penetrate into it, and hence it can make the reaction faster. Clear? Understood first of all? Why did we take granulated zinc? Alright, why not the pure zinc, we can say that. Now the question comes here, we should do the reaction with dilute sulfuric acid or concentrated sulfuric acid. In the previous area I have said you that we should never do the reaction with concentrated sulfuric acid. Why? Because concentrated sulfuric acid also acts as an oxidizing agent. It will give you nascent oxygen which reacts with hydrogen produced to form water. So the yield is your water, not hydrogen gas. Even if you will get hydrogen gas, very small amount of hydrogen gas, mostly you will be getting water. The next thing is that along with water, sulfur dioxide will also be evolved due to the decomposition of sulfuric acid. SO2 gas will also be evolved. First of all, you will not get hydrogen. If at all you will get hydrogen, small amount with concentrated sulfuric acid, because I said you concentrated sulfuric acid acts as an oxidizing agent. It gives you nascent oxygen. These hydrogen reacts with oxygen to form water. Are you able to understand or not? H2 plus O will give you H2O. Alright, O means O in bracket, square bracket. That means what? Nascent oxygen. It gives you water. But I don't want water here. I am reading hydrogens. I want hydrogen. How to prepare hydrogen, that I need to understand. So hence concentrated sulfuric acid is not preferred. Dilute sulfuric acid is being preferred. So you need to understand that. The dilute sulfuric acid we take. Because it is not an oxidizing agent, dilute sulfuric acid, so to say. Clear? And neither it gives you sulfur dioxide gas upon decomposition. Okay, fine. So now the next question is that we need to heat it here slightly if at all is required. If it is required, let me tell you, zinc will react with dilute sulfuric acid if it is required. Again and again I say, otherwise generally it is not required. Simply what you will do is that you will be taking that is an Wolf's bottle. Wolf's bottle means having a two opening. Here I have taken one opening. Generally two opening is there. That is called as an Wolf's bottle. The WOULFS. Wolf's, name of a scientist it is. Generally a two opening is there. Two opening means you know what sort of? This sort of. You can see. This sort of. See here. This sort of. Two opening is there. Clear? So in this way. Through one I am adding sulfuric acid by the help of Thistle funnel. You can see with the help of Thistle funnel. Here cork will be there, of course, and here sulfuric acid, and here that is nothing but zinc. Zinc granules will be there here, zinc granules. Now this should be dipped inside. the mouth of the Thissell funnel should be dipped inside the acid. Understood? It should be dipped inside. Alright, and here the hydrogen gas which is being evolved, it is being allowed to pass through a delivery tube, and this delivery tube is being what you can say is it is being dipped in, not dipped in rather, it passes through a beehive cell which is in a water, clear, and we are collecting it by the downward displacement of water. You can say that this one, water is there, clear, here water is there, here water is there, we can say this is a gas jar, we can say, and a beehive cell will be there through which this tube passes, and here that is also water is there, here also water is there, we can say that this is a gas jar which contains water. I'll say you I have taken water. Alright, in this way it is being collected. Of course here also cork is there, mind it, cork is there, everywhere cork is there, otherwise the gas will escape from this. The cork is there, that's a precaution you must take. And here I am adding the sulfuric acid by the help of Thissell funnel. I am adding sulfuric acid, I am adding it here, H2SO4, that is dilute H2SO4, I am adding it. So this is your diagram, this is known as a Wolff's bottle, a rough diagram I made it, it's not a fair diagram, a rough diagram I have done it here. Alright, so this is an Wolff's bottle, this is said to be is having a 2 opening here, we can say that, clear, find it. So in this way, what I am doing is that zinc I am adding to dilute sulfuric acid, zinc granules which reacts with to form zinc sulfide, and hydrogen gas is evolved, and hydrogen gas is collected by the downward displacement of water. Why it is being collected, how it is collected, everything I am going to tell you, just have patience and listen to me. Now, next question which I am going to come to is that why not we take sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, these all metals. One by one I will come. With sodium, potassium and calcium, you know the reaction is highly explosive, it's not possible. We will not be able to collect the hydrogen gas, will not be able to collect. It is so explosive, it is so vigorous, it is so exothermic that we will not be able to collect the hydrogen gas practically. Science, it is not possible. Got it? This one. Now, calcium and magnesium, they are very expensive also at the same time. Calcium and magnesium, they are very expensive. So, it cannot be used for the laboratory preparation of hydrogen, because we have to see the economical cost also. That economically it should be suitable for us also. So, calcium and magnesium at the same time, it's very costly. So, it cannot be suitable for the preparation of hydrogen in the laboratory preparation, it's not suitable. Aluminium is not used because it forms a protective coating. I have discussed with you that it forms aluminium sulfate, aluminium oxide in this way, an insoluble layer which prevents further reaction with acids, we can say that. So hence it is not preferred, we can say that. Iron reacts very slowly at ordinary temperature, because I said you generally heating is not required. If little bit heating is required, little bit, that means warming slowly. If the reaction does not take place, just you warm it little bit, slightly warm it, yeah, clear. Otherwise it is not required, generally it is not required, I am saying you. So but with iron you have to heat it, because iron does not react with acids at a room temperature. Got it? The reaction will be very slow. Got it? So heating is required, which is not possible. Also hydrogen, iron contains H2S and SO2 gas as an impurities. Also it contains a large amount. Got it? In large amount it contains H2S and SO2 gas, because iron contains sulfur as an impurities, and that sulfur reacts with hydrogen and to form what you can say H2S gas, and that sulfur oxidizes in air to form sulfur dioxide gas. So with if you prepare what you can say hydrogen from iron, then H2S and SO2 gas will be prepared in large amount. Got it? Rather the yield of H2S and SO2 will be more than hydrogen. I don't want that. It is an impurities for us, isn't it? Lead reacts, I said, with acid very slow. The reaction is very slow with lead. I told you the reason why it is so. It forms an insoluble coating of lead chloride and lead sulfate, due to which further reaction also does not take place. So what is being left then in the series? Zinc is being left. So hence zinc is being preferred. For that reason zinc is preferred. So here the question may come that why we don't take sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, iron, lead. Why we don't take? We can take tin also. We can take to a certain extent, we can take, but zinc is mostly preferred, we can say that, because we get zinc granules, and zinc granule contains copper as an impurity, I said you, and this copper acts as a catalyst which makes the reaction faster. And moreover, zinc granule contains pores, and through these pores dilute sulfuric acid can penetrate and makes the reaction faster, we can say that. Clear? Understood now? Fine. Now next is what I said you, concentrated sulfuric acid. I have explained you that why we are not taking it. Now next is why do we prefer to collect hydrogen gas? As you can see in the diagram, I am collecting hydrogen gas by the downward displacement of water. I am collecting it. Why? Because very simple answer. and that is hydrogen is insoluble in water. Almost hydrogen, practically it is insoluble in water, hydrogen gas. It is not soluble. For that reason we collect it by downward displacement of water, we can say that. So here you can see the water is there up to this level, the water is there in the gas jar up to this level, we can say that. And above this, what is being collected? The hydrogen gas is being collected here. How do we know the hydrogen gas is collected? Slowly you lift this particular gas jar and you bring a burning splinter near the mouth of the gas jar. You will see the burning splinter goes off with a pop sound. It goes off with a pop sound, proving that the gas jar contains hydrogen gas present in it. But one thing you need to remember here, one precautions you have to take it. When you are collecting hydrogen gas with the downward displacement of water, initially few bubbles of the hydrogen gas you don't collect it. Initial bubbles, the first few bubbles of the hydrogen gas, you don't collect it, because that hydrogen gas will, when it will enter into this particular one, it may also contain some air present in it. If nothing is there, means initially what is there? Air is there. Alright, so hydrogen and oxygen. Air means oxygen is there. Alright, so hydrogen and oxygen, it forms an explosive mixture. Alright, what I said understood? That is, initially few bubbles of hydrogen gas is discarded. We are not collecting it. Alright, why? Because that hydrogen gas may also contain, along with it, air may also be present in it. And when you will collect this hydrogen gas along with air, what you will find is that when you will store it, it may cause explosive reaction, because hydrogen, when it reacts with air, it forms an explosive mixture. Alright, to prevent that, first few bubbles of hydrogen gas is being discarded. Alright, first few bubbles is being discarded. It's not being collected. That you must remember it. It is a precaution for you. Alright, this is a precaution, so you must take it. Alright, the gas jar which is filled with hydrogen, I said you, it's an inverted position, it's being kept so that to prevent any leakage, means after collecting the gas jar, you kept in an inverted position, the gas jar, so that no leakage should be there. And let me tell you one more thing, that here we are putting in the gas jar, after collecting the hydrogen gas, here we are putting a, that is a lid which contains some grease present in it. You know why grease is present along the side of the lid? Lid means, you know, dhakkan, which is said to be as in the gas jar. Why? Because that grease will act as, what is that? Airtight container. Because when you put the lid containing grease in it, so grease will stick to that particular, what you can say, the gas jar, and it will not allow any gap. Because when generally when we put the lid, some gap is there, some air hole is there. Through that air can enter, and as I said, air when it will enter into the gas jar of hydrogen, it will cause an explosive mixture. So if grease will be there, alright, if grease will be there, or glycerin will be there, or wax will be there, alright, in that particular lid, it will prevent the gas jar, got it, to come in contact with air. Means inside the gas jar only hydrogen gas will be present, air will not be coming in contact, or air cannot penetrate inside the gas jar. To prevent that, we are doing so. Got it? Fine. These are the precautions you need to take while collecting, what you can say, the hydrogen gas. These are the precautions, because I said you, it forms an explosive mixture with air. Now, hydrogen is, one more reason hydrogen is collected by the downward displacement of water is that hydrogen is lighter than air. Alright, you know the density of air is 14.4 and density of hydrogen is how much? It is just 1, we can say that. Clear? So, hydrogen is quite lighter than air, isn't it? So, as a result, it forms also an explosive mixture with air due to it's lighter, because it rises up, and hence it forms an explosive mixture with air. Alright, so hence we are not collecting hydrogen, alright, directly we are collecting hydrogen by the downward displacement of water, so to say. Now, when you are drying the hydrogen gas, remember it, we are not using concentrated sulfuric acid. For drying of hydrogen gas, it is being passed over anhydrous calcium chloride or phosphorus pentoxide, P2O5. Listen carefully. It is being passed over anhydrous calcium chloride or phosphorus pentoxide, P2O5, or caustic potash. Caustic potash, sticks are coming, sticks of caustic potash is coming. So we are passing through either anhydrous calcium chloride, or we are passing through phosphorus pentoxide, or we are passing through caustic potash sticks, which absorbs the moisture which is present in hydrogen. Moisture means water which is present in hydrogen, and it makes the hydrogen gas dry. It makes it dry, and we collect the pure and dry hydrogen. Got it? We collect it over mercury. We don't collect it over water, because again if you collect it over water, again it will become moist. Hydrogen is not soluble in water. I don't say it is being soluble, but it will become moist because some moisture will be present in hydrogen. Of course, hydrogen is practically insoluble in water. See, there is a difference between solubility and sticking of moisture to hydrogen. There is a difference that you need to understand. Solubility means when the gas is completely dissolving in a particular solvent like water. That is called solubility. So here hydrogen does not dissolve. Alright, it's practically insoluble. Only moisture sticks to it. We can say that. Clear? In our body also moisture sticks to it. So water vapor sticks to it. But does it mean that we are soluble in it? Not at all. So what we find is that we are collecting the dry hydrogen gas. We are collecting over mercury. We are collecting it over mercury. Got it? And so that it will not become moist further. And in this way the dry hydrogen gas is collected. Now suppose generally what we find is that some impurities are involved when you prepare hydrogen from zinc, granulated zinc. Some impurities are being involved generally. So generally what are the impurities which are involved? As I said you, H2S gas may be prepared, may be present, phosphine may be present, PH3, arsine may be present, ASH3, sulfur dioxide may also be present, SO2 gas we can say, carbon dioxide may be present, nitrogen dioxide may be present, moisture, that is water vapor may be present. So we have to remove all these things. Then only we can collect the pure and dry hydrogen gas over mercury. We can collect. So how to remove? Now listen carefully one by one I am saying you. To remove arsine and phosphine, got it? So you have prepared hydrogen gas from here, got it? Now you what you do is that you make another that is a delivery tube. From here another delivery tube you take it, and you pass the hydrogen gas through a container. Container means you will be taking, that is this sort of a conical, what you can say, what I should say, this one, a conical vessel we can say that. Clear? Beaker, that is beaker, not a beaker, this one is a conical flask rather. So I will allow the gas, the impure hydrogen gas. See, this impure hydrogen gas is an impure gas. I will pass it. Alright, after collecting it, this what you can say over water. Alright, after collecting your water, we will pass the impure hydrogen gas through. First, I will pass it through, that is silver nitrate solution, AgNO3 solution, AgNO3. Here AgNO3 solution will be there. First I will pass through silver nitrate. Now silver nitrate will remove the arsine and the phosphine gas, that is ASH3 arsine and PH3 is phosphine. That gas it will remove to form silver phosphide or silver arsenite. We can say that. Silver phosphide and silver arsenite it is going to form. Silver nitrate solution will react with arsine and phosphine if at all is present in hydrogen gas. It's going to form silver phosphide and silver arsenides. Got it? And arsine and phosphine is removed. Number one. Then if hydrogen sulfide gas is being present, how do we know? Rodden smell. Got it? We are passing through lead nitrate solution. Now after this you pass it through lead nitrate. Another conical flask you take and you pass it through and you keep lead nitrate. Of course here cork will be there. Understood children? The cork will be there here. Cork will be present here. Got it? So you pass it through lead nitrate solution. Now when you pass the gas through lead nitrate solution, if hydrogen sulfide is present, it will become black color, precipitate will be formed, which is lead sulfide, PBS. A black color precipitate will be formed, that is called lead sulfide, if at all H2S is being present. Then to remove sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, you pass it through concentrated KOH solution, potassium hydroxide solution or NaOH solution we pass it through. You can also take here lime water also, you can take it, no problem. Calcium hydroxide we can take. So what it will do? It will form the respective salt and water. Alright, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, if at all is being present in hydrogen gas, if at all is being present, then it will react with either KOH or NaOH or calcium hydroxide, got it, to form the respective salt and water. That means this also gases are removed. So you have removed arsine and phosphine, you have removed H2S, you have removed what you can say CO2, NO2, SO2 if at all is being present. Now, to remove the water vapor, what I said, you collect it, you pass it through anhydrous calcium chloride or phosphorus pentoxide or caustic potash sticks, you pass it. Better is to take anhydrous calcium chloride. What will happen? Moisture will be removed. Water vapor will be removed. Got it? Now, the pure and dry. Pure is over. Now, the dry hydrogen gas is also we got it. Not only we removed the impurities, but also we made it dry. Isn't it? We pass it through anhydrous calcium chloride. It became dry. Now the pure and dry hydrogen gas, as I said you earlier, you collect it over mercury. Got it? In this way, this is the laboratory method for the preparation of hydrogen. I said you, this is a laboratory method for the preparation of hydrogen. Okay, in this way you prepare hydrogen in the lab. We can say that. Got it? Now Next is that is what I should say, that is we can also prepare industry. In the industry we can also prepare it by the electrolysis of acidulated water. By the electrolysis of acidulated water we can prepare in the industries. What you need to do is that you take acidulated water. What do you mean by acidulated water? That is water you will take and you will add dilute sulfuric acid into it. That is called acidulated water. Now why it should be acidulated? Because pure water is a poor conductor of electricity. It is a bad conductor of electricity. It does not conduct electricity. Pure water means distilled water. It does not conduct electricity. So to make it conductive, got it? Because during electrolysis you pass electric current through water. To make it conductive, what you need to do is that you need to, that is, add sulfuric acid into it. When you add sulfuric acid into it, then the pure water becomes conductive, and that is called acidulated water, acidified water. Alright, so when you go for electrolysis of, that is what you can say, acidulated water, hydrogen gas is collected at the cathode and oxygen is gas collected at anode. I don't want oxygen, I want hydrogen. In this way you can collect hydrogen. Now how the reaction is being done, you see. H2O, it gives you H plus plus OH minus. Alright, clear? Now it is acidulated. This water is acidulated. It is mixed with acid. Dilute sulfuric acid I have added. Now at cathode. So cathode, remember that we are having the two electrodes. Alright, we are having two electrodes. Actually we do this experiment in apparatus called Hofmann's voltameter. Hofmann's voltameter. Got it? A voltameter, not voltmeter. Voltmeter is different, voltameter is different. Hofmann's voltameter apparatus is there, in which you are having two electrodes, this sort of. One positive electrode and negative electrode. Positive electrode is the anode, negative electrode is the cathode. How do we know positive electrode? Because that is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, and negative electrode is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. Negative terminal of the battery, we can say that. So here the positive electrode is the anode and negative electrode is the cathode. Got it? And electrodes are generally inert in nature. They are generally made up of graphite. Electrodes are made up of graphite or platinum, or we can say that iron also we can say, because iron is also inert in nature in this particular case in electrolysis. Alright, it does not react with electrolyte, we can say that. Clear? So we can take carbon electrodes, same thing. Graphite means it is an allotrope of carbon only. So we can take graphite, you can take iron, we can take platinum, electrodes we can take it, because these electrode does not have any reaction with the electrolyte. Electrolyte is what here? That is acidulated water, that is the electrolyte. Okay. So hence at cathode, which is a negative electrode, mind it, positive ions will go. This is cation and this is anion. When you go for electrolysis, it dissociates into two ions, cations and anions. So cations is positive, cathode is negative, mind it. Cations, cathode, easy to remember. Cations is positive, cathode is negative, because always unlike charges attracts and like charges repels. So H plus, plus means having deficiency of electrons. So it will gain one electron, say gaining plus. So plus into minus is minus, minus plus is 0. So we get H. Now H is not stable. Hydrogen is stable. Atomic state is stable? No. So another hydrogen, it will react to form a hydrogen molecule which is being released from cathode. Got it? Understood? This reaction, H plus means deficiency of electrons. So it requires one more electron, gains an electron, plus E minus. So plus into minus is minus. Minus plus is 0. So it is neutral. So hydrogen is not stable in the atomic state. It reacts with another hydrogen atom to form hydrogen molecule. Another hydrogen atom, in this only we will be getting it. Now at anode. Anode is the positive electrode. So OH minus ions will come. Of course I don't require this. Just I am completing the reaction. OH minus minus E minus. Because minus means it is having excess electrons. So it is going to lose. So it is losing. Losing means negative. So minus into minus is plus. Again plus minus is what? 0. So we get neutral OH. In this way 4OH will give you 2H2O plus O2. So oxygen gas is released from anode, which we don't want here now for the time being. We want only hydrogen. In this way, by the electrolysis of acidulated water, we collect hydrogen gas at the cathode. So this method is used to manufacture hydrogen in the large scale. In the large scale, it is used to manufacture hydrogen. And electrolysis means by passing electric current through acidulated water. Alright, this is said to be yes. Thank you.